started. They have started giving laptops. They have started educational program. The type of need that I had for education in 1990 was not there in the early 2000s. So what happened immediately? It started sinking. So immediately what I did was I didn't want to close down the institution. So I threw it open. Anybody belonging to lower income group, irrespective of the age group, you can come and join. Nobody joined. Very, very few people joined because all those people said, I said 30, 40, 60, 70, you just come and join. They were not joining because they said, sir, there's no need for this for me. See, young people are taking to my computer school because they thought they would give me a job need. The job need is not going to be, I am not interested. Then finally what I did was sheer desperation, I threw it open for the senior citizens. Anybody plus 65, you can join, irrespective of the income, irrespective of the age. Just start, you all qualify and encourage 65. People started flocking. Huge number of people like a wait listed. Then what I found was strange to my discomfort or comfort. Retired IAS officers were joining my course. Mother of IIT professor was joining my course. Then people coming in the car and attending my free computer school and going. Then the criticism started for me. Sir, why are you running this deprived institution and helping this IIT, mother of the IIT professor and former IAS officers? You charge them fees. I thought there is a logic in this. So I said, anybody who run my course, you have to pay 1,000 rupees. The moment I told the senior citizens, all of them dropped. It dropped by nearly 10%. Only 10% was there because there was no need for them. They just come as a measure of time spending and all. The moment I asked 1,000 rupees, they were not willing to pay. The whole thing was, finally I had an awkward situation today. My 10 schools, I am running only 2 schools today. And again, consisting of elderly and the youth and all. So this is the kind of thing, the need has to come. Are we in a position to make the people in the lower income group feel the need for digital system? This is a challenge before the government today. Now, given this scenario, one thing we need to keep in mind. I'm talking only up to 250 million people of the lower income group. I'm not talking about the rest. Given that, if you take a 2011 census, 74% literacy in India is only 74%. That is 26% is not literate. Latest, some of these recent studies say the literacy, computer literacy in India is just hardly less than 25%. Then 25 million people, 25% of the national population is below poverty line. They don't get a square meal a day. That is more than 250 million people. You are going to spend the digital along with them. Even if you give them a laptop free, they can't run it because they can't maintain the laptop. So ultimate need for here to do this here is make it, people need that. Now how to make the poor people need that, how to make the deprived people need that. So here you have to do it in a very painless way and you have to be very patient. Now the system that has been already introduced in the DGTD, it is certainly not in a painless way. I'll give you a case study. There was a domestic servant in my house. She doesn't have a mobile phone and all, a very poor lady. She went to register her, the government is giving free housing scheme for poor. So she went to register. She said she stood in the queue for nearly 5 hours because 40 people are ahead of her. Finally, someone managed to reach the counter. The counter when she reached, the fellow said, where is your Aadhaar card? This lady gave the Aadhaar card. Then give me a mobile number. This lady said, I don't have a mobile number. Why? I don't have a mobile. Then I can't register you, go back. She was totally frustrated. Then she came back to me and told me the story. I know this was the rule they have, nothing I could do, I just kept quiet. Then she went to some of her friends. Then asked, why is it, who has done this? Why are they delaying this? Because I'm a mobile phone, I am a poor people, I should get. Then somebody told him, who is responsible for this? Somebody said, Modi. Immediately she said, she became a tremendous bitterness against Modi and started complaining, this gentleman has done this. So she is now a chief campaigner against Modi. This is the problem. See, when you are going to impose a system for which people are not ready, then what's going to happen is you are going to get a resistance. The moment you get the resistance, things will not move. It will become like a Sanjay Gandhi sterilization program during the emergency. See, that means the national need and individual need has to be met. Unless it is met, no system will work. So how to go about? One is, don't be in a hurry. 250 million or 300 million people are not going to be digital friendly at least for some time. Be patient. And have an education program, don't give it up. Have an education program, keep trying, but make it very, very simple. Make it at various different levels. I am not sure so far, from whatever little I have seen, where the government of India has chalked out an extremely, very, very important specific program to meet the requirement of downtrodden and deprived to sell the digital system. I have not done. I think that's the biggest lacuna as far as concerned. Thank you very much.
May I call upon our President, Mr. Ravi Venkatraman, to give the memento, please? Thank you, sir. That was a very inspiring speech. Um, the next speaker on podium is Dr. K. Ganapati, President, Apollo Telemedicine Networking Foundation.
Good morning, everybody. At the outset, I would like to thank the organizers for inviting me here. In the next 600 seconds, I hope to convince every one of you in this auditorium that digital empowerment is the only way in which we can provide quality, affordable, accessible healthcare to everyone, every time, anywhere. I necessarily have to show some photographs. That's the only way I can convince you that what I'm talking is not just theory, but practice. Since there are so many bright people here, can we please switch off the lights, madam? Excuse me. Just switch off some of these lights. Thank you. The others can go to sleep also if they like. Little more. This was a paper which I published 2 years ago, and this states the horrible facts. 938 million Indians live in places where there's not a single neurologist or a neurosurgeon. I'm a neurosurgeon by training. You can extend this, substitute this with oncologists, rheumatologists, even general medicine, physicians, ENT surgeons, whatever you want. Not in the lifetime of my great-great-grandchildren will there be enough brick-and-mortar hospitals. We hold the world's record in having the minimum number of doctors, nurses, hospitals, healthcare providers, etc., etc. At the same time, India is a paradox. TRAI announced a few weeks ago that we have reached the 1 billion mark. Yesterday, Reliance announced that for 153 rupees a month, they are going to give unlimited data. This is the power of information and communication technology in this country. Why can't we use the two? At the Apollo hospitals where I work, we have been trying in our own small way for digital empowerment. But unfortunately, we are just an oasis in a desert, and I personally am very frustrated that we suffer from a condition called pilotitis. We have done dozens and dozens of pilots, proof of concept validation, but still we are unable to escalate this into the healthcare delivery system. I believe that you are the cream of the cream of the cream of India, and if you cannot help, no one else can help. So I'm going to appeal to you with solid data to show that you and you alone can make a difference. Now, these are some of the products which we do. For lack of time, I'm not going into all these details, but just to prove the point that today a patient need not be physically in front of a doctor. Ladies and gentlemen, distance has become meaningless. As one management guru said, geography has become history. If I were the health minister of India, I would probably say that from 2030, India need not build a single hospital. Patients should not go to hospitals. Hospitals should go to patients. You can have a doctor in your pocket. You can have a laboratory in your pocket. Your smartphone can be converted into 85% of what a hospital does. I jokingly told Dr. Pratap Reddy 18 years ago when I got interested in telemedicine, I told him, sir, if I really succeed, you'll have to close down Apollo hospitals, All India Institute of Medical Science and whatnot. Today, excepting for bone marrow transplant, cardiac transplants, head injuries, liver transplant and things like that, you do not require a hospital. Unfortunately, patient participation is the least so far as healthcare is concerned. We do not shout when we have to print our own airline tickets. It's 3 years since I went to a bank physically. But how many of us, as one of the previous speakers mentioned, really take a proactive part in our own healthcare? I hope technology will not let me down. You can see here, this was in 2001 that I started doing echocardiograms. Yeah. We don't have a pediatric cardiologist from Madras. Unfortunately, a superb pilot project we published, we presented, but that was the end arbitrary. We were not able to integrate this into the healthcare delivery system. Now this is where we require help. Now here, a simple iPad or a tablet. Today you can get a good tablet for 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 rupees. With a tablet like this, I can do a detailed neuro-ophthalmic evaluation. I can even check color vision and so on. I have personally done about 1,900 consultations in neurosurgery over the last couple of years. Now here is a typical example. This patient is in Dubai. Now, believe me, a CT scan will not give you the diagnosis, an MRI, an EEG, the most sophisticated investigation in the world will not give you a diagnosis. All that is required is seeing the patient like this. When I will not find any neurological deficit. But in practice, a good MBBS student should be able to make this as a textbook diagnosis of what's called temporal lobe seizure. The diagnosis is extremely simple. But then, when the patient comes to me, it's unlikely that he will have this convulsion, this episode in front of me. What did I do? An ordinary lower income family, a Tamilian family in Dubai, I told the lady, look, you have a mobile phone. Next time your child has these attacks, take a photograph and then send it to me. And this was all that I wanted. I put her on the appropriate medicine and the child is totally normal. 3 minutes of my time for a trained observer. That's all that is required. Now, we have part of our activities include a corporate social responsibility. We have a multinational company which has given us a major 4 crore project. We have today, using technology, we have been able to screen 350,000 people for lifestyle diseases. We also have health education modules. I wish I had 2 hours to talk to you, but I see Madam already looking at me saying you've got 6 minutes more, so I'll try to wind up. Now, I strongly believe that health literacy is the most important thing. Again, if I were the health secretary, I would allot 20% to the health budget to promoting health literacy, patient empowerment, knowledge empowerment. It is sad today in 2017 July at the Apollo Hospitals, Chennai. I am giving Apollo as an example. Take any hospital. I have at least 1 patient today with a devastating stroke, who's either a professor, a doctor, an engineer, a chartered accountant, a judge, and so on and so forth. For the simple reason that the so-called elite of the city do not know that they are hypertensives. If they do know they are hypertensives, they don't bother to have themselves controlled. 80% of conditions today could have been prevented. I told Dr. Reddy that, sir, you said 110,000 open heart surgeries we have done, the world's highest. 98% of these open heart surgeries need not have been done in the first place at all. Why do we do open heart surgery? Why does a coronary artery get blocked? Simply because of deposition of triglycerides, cholesterol, sugar, and so on and so forth. Of course, there are genetic studies, etc. But this is an eminently reversible, preventable thing. So what did I do? 2 years ago, I approached Dr. M.S. Swaminathan, and with the help of the M.S. Swaminathan Research Foundation, twice a month my doctors give talks. We have given about 97 lectures so far. About 25,000 villagers have listened to these talks. Unfortunately, I am a scientist, but unfortunately I don't have funds, I don't have people to help me. I need some help. If only I had help, I could have got solid, statistically valid scientific data which have proved beyond doubt that this health education did make a significant difference in healthcare parameters. Unfortunately, for all this we require funding. Just 1 or 2 examples. Now here you can see the government of Andhra Pradesh has entrusted us as a part of a public-private partnership 164 primary health centers. We have totally taken over the management of 164 primary health centers. I have an MBBS doctor, 5 other employees there. Unfortunately, I was hoping that IIT would give it to me, but I don't have connection to the internet. If I had a connection to the internet, right now all I need to do is to click on this dashboard, and you would have seen in real time, you would have seen patients coming to these 164 primary health centers and my data getting updated. This is totally transparent. The Chief Minister's office, the Health Minister's office, the Health Secretary and all authorized officers have access to this. I have access to this with my phone. So every day we have 40 to 45 patients in each of these primary health centers. A total of 7,000 a day. We have already covered about 300,000. About 11.2% of this number have also benefited with specialist consultation, orthopedic, general surgery. I myself have given a few neurology, teleconsults, etc. from the primary health center on a big TV screen.
I guarantee these people that within 20 minutes, if it is an emergency, one of my consultants will appear on a screen. We have scheduled virtual OPs. We have done 30,000 of this. Several papers have been published, presented, etc., etc. Now, this is the Himalayas. 14,000 feet height to the Himalayas. The district of Lahul and Spiti, 34,000 population. The government of Himachal Pradesh entrusted this 2.5 years ago. Not a single doctor was willing to stay at temperatures of minus 25 degrees. 6 months in a year, there are landslides, snowstorms, nobody is there. The valley is literally cut off. So my team went there, and this is what we have done. I'll show you one or two examples. You can see here, on a Saturday evening at 5 o'clock, a man comes with chest pain. An ECG is taken at a height of 14,000 feet, transmitted to my emergency department. My doctor says ECG normal, but he looks at his face. He says, I don't like the look of this guy. He just doesn't look well. Health nurse, hold on, don't send it back. Keep him there for an hour and a half more. Repeat the ECG. We repeat the ECG and we show that the previous ECG was normal, but in the last 75 minutes, he has developed an ST segment wave elevation and so on. A myocardial infarction is picked up in real time. And because we were doing that, we initiated thrombolysis. 7 patients were picked up a myocardial infarction as they were evolving in the Himalayas. This is a power of digital medicine. This is what can be done.